Welcome back, everybody, to the conclusion of round 3 of the 2020 Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Grip Equipment and DISCRAFT, the world leader in disc sports. I'm Brian Earhart, and Tristan Tanner is here joining me. We are watching a bit of a roller coaster around here with our card.
Yeah, we're back on EUREKA Lake, and this front nine, I think for a lot of players, this third round has been tricking them just because of the difference in style that we've had to become accustomed to moving from Northwoods to here.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that a lot of players were pushed way outside their comfort zones are now having to come back to their roots and just worry about putting the disc in play with all the OB rope we have out here. As you can see, quite a bit of green and quite a bit of red and maroon on these scorecards. We have Gavin Rathbun, Paul Ulibarri, Alden Harris, and Noah Meintsma. And they're really managing for how many big numbers we've seen on these cards.
Yeah, they've had quite a few bogeys, but at this point, it's just you can birdie quite a few on this back nine, and it's just about how many you can get, really.
Yeah, once you finish that bridge hole, 10 through 18 is a race to the finish. And we move into hole number 10. A bit of a relief, not too much, but 425 feet dead straight. A few trees kind of guarding this basket. One of the main misses is this patch of trees on the right side.
Yeah, and on this day, we did have a headwind, and this hole plays a little bit longer than the 425 number. See Alden taking that D1. Gets a little bit of a gap in that tree, which might mean he's in a worth spot back there.
I don't believe it's OB back there, so he's likely going to at least be able to get up and down.
Yep.
Noah, I think he's going leopard or T-bird here. You can usually tell by the mid-flight.
T-bird.
He's one of the few players I've seen throw a T-bird 500 feet dead straight.
Yep.
Kind of a crazy thing to watch.
Yeah, he has great control out of those 6-7 speed drivers. And what is this from Yuli?
I actually don't know. Now, judging by the flight of it, it looks like a nuke. It did check up pretty hard, but I actually have no idea. That is out of bounds, unfortunately, from Yuli. And that looks like a complete misfire from Gavin.
Wow. And he knows it. That's just a complete misrelease. And wow. Alden got way down here.
I didn't know there was a pond in this hole.
That's the river, I believe.
Oh, no. Alden has to throw 2 sidearms, and his second sidearm goes to about 25 feet. No gimme here. Yuli for the par save.
Jokingly says, get in. Oh,
he's already on the next hole. And Alden's got to take some time here and reset. Couple of rough flicks out of the woods. He's got a 25-footer for 4 here. Good save. You can see him breathe a sigh of relief.
Heard dog yipping and yapping while Yuli's putting.
Yeah, it's so interesting. This course is so challenging, but it was really built out of nothing. This was just a standard public park that Nate Heinold decided to throw some baskets on, and over the course of about almost a decade, I believe, I think this is the 10th official Ledgestone, this course went from feeling a bit like a circus to now one of the hardest courses that players flock to every year.
Yep. And hole number 11 is definitely one of the easiest holes on the course. It's really just a pitch forehand. A lot of players in our sport at the high level should have a 300-foot left to right shot.
Exactly. And we do see some backhand, but nowadays most of the touring players at least have a sidearm with this distance. As you can see Noah going here. Overstable disc. And I believe he got up there for at least a putt. Didn't quite see where it landed. And Alden's going with a bit, the tougher backhand shot here. We do have OB all around this basket. And again, not quite sure where that's at. Paul looking like he's taking a force out here. That's a nice looking line. Parked. And that looks pretty good. It looks overstable enough to just sit down. He'll be about 28 feet.
Oh.
And he knows that was kind of dirty.
Yeah,
Low right side.
Yeah, these baskets, that is probably the most likely putt to spit on these baskets. It's on hyzer, low on the right side. It likes to just push them out just slightly.
No, with a nice birdie putt there. Another birdie from Alden. And Yuli has a nice little tap in here for his birdie as well. Especially after that rough last hole. It's nice to get a birdie on the next one, padding that bounce back stat.
Mm-hmm.
And Gavin is looking for some redemption here. Hole number 12, one of the signature holes on this course, the water tower hole. It's an island green. The basket is placed directly behind the EUREKA water tower. As you can see, all of the colorful DISCRAFT banners behind. It is a tough green to stick.
Yeah, and we do have to mention, if you hit the water tower, the likeliness of you going out of bounds is like 99.9%.
Yeah, it is a roll-away machine. As we see Noah
Heading towards that.
just in front, and that looks like a misfire out of bounds. They will proceed to a drop zone that is about 200 behind the basket.
Yep. And that's that same D1 that he's been trusting all day. Just a little bit too much flip. Again, this was a headwind hole on this day.
And it says 354 for the distance, but this hole, because it plays uphill, plays more like 400.
Mm-hmm. See Yuli giving it all he has on that one.
Oh, no. And we felt the same thing at the same time. That was brutal, and he feels it. It skipped forward rather than sideways. It just didn't have quite enough time to fade left.
And this
Such a
one
micro
needs
mistake.
to go a little bit. And, oh.
0.1%.
01%.
0.01% happened. He is inbounds, folks.
And this approach is not easy. The distance judge is not...
And completely blind.
Yeah, and Noah makes it look real easy.
This is one that players I do see practicing prior to the event.
Mm-hmm. Very well done from those two.
And as you can hear, the wind is still whipping.
And Yuli choosing for the forehand, actually. Maybe a little bit better with the wind. Oh, and...
Wow, 3 great drop zone shots.
And Gavin with a look at 2. See if he can capitalize on the fortunate break.
And he will take the best number on his card with a tap in 3.
3, a very uncommon score on this hole.
Yeah, actually.
It's normally 2 or 4.
Yeah, it's a very small island green, and usually when you make the island, you know you've put it close. And as we see, 3 bogeys and a par here, we move into 13.
Huh. What color's your disc? How?
It's green. Stop. Whatever. I'll get another one. Okay.
Hole number 13 is really probably the signature hole out here with the par 5, 3 landing zones. Most players are just going to be going to this first one off the tee with a hyzer. No one really is going to be taking this route that the drone is flying. Most players are going to be playing 3 shots out over the water.
And this lane is more the recovery zone. If you push your drive too deep, there is a back fairway. And whoa, we see the drone now flying over the water, trying to highlight the appropriate textbook shot to get to the green. There are lots of ways to play this hole, but for birdie, it's a triple hyzer.
And it should be mentioned, there was a huge backup on this hole. When my card rolled through, we were the 5th card waiting on this one.
Yeah, and it's frankly due to the fact that after throwing this drive, the players are having to walk all the way around the lake, waiting on other players. They had it towards the end of the day where, as one group was walking up to their drives, the next one was throwing over the water to at least alleviate a little bit of that. And as you can see, you want to be more on the front right side of this lip of grass. And Alden's put it in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, that could be pushing a little bit too far, which makes the hyzer a little bit more of a saw-off shot. A little bit more height from Uli, trying to control that distance. Sit down.
And that actually rolled to a fantastic spot.
That's pretty perfect.
Oh,
tight gap from Noah.
and that's got to pull a Reed Friskura.
Need some
quick.
help. Oh, he actually went all air.
Oh, man.
And just passed it. Oh.
Oh, Noah. That was one of the craziest shots I've seen all round, if not the craziest. And there's Uli with his pink pop-top force.
See it just getting played with by the wind.
And that's another great position.
Gavin going really high. See, he was pinched off a little bit by those limbs.
Yeah, you're seeing a bit of a crosswind play with this disc, and that's why Gavin threw his so high.
Giving us a thumbs up. Thumbs up? Awesome.
And this thumbs up was waiting on the card in front of them, throwing through the fairway, trying to alleviate some of these backups. Alden kind of short steps his last step here.
And he played a little bit straighter of a disc, probably trying to get a little bit more glide over to that left side.
And I believe he did put it in play. I couldn't quite see.
Yep, looked to be safe.
And Noah, after a miraculous shot, gets to go for his birdie. That looked a lot more textbook.
Yeah, I would assume a Firebird type disc.
And that's beautiful. Yep. And I wanted to mention this run of force that Uli's throwing. If you have one of these and it's hot pink with a white stamp and the dome is very pop top, there's a community of force throwers that want to pay you money. So get digging in your attics, folks.
Yep, all the touring DISCRAFT players definitely love those.
Oh, yeah. After Yuli does go a little bit deep, we have Alden
And
lining up. A little slower disc.
Yeah, I do like the mid-range play going into this green. It controls a little bit of the roll potential because the green is a little bit harder packed than the fairway shots. That's pretty low out of Gavin's hand. Needs to get up and sit down. Just outside the circle with an uphill look.
And Gavin seems a little stressed out ever since that bogey putt on 8. He seemed a little bit rattled, probably frustrated he did not lay up that putt. And now the disc is starting to come out of his hand a little bit less confident.
Alden almost cashes in that birdie putt. Like you were saying with Gavin, really once one thing goes wrong on this course, as he almost cashes it in. Once one thing goes wrong on this course, it's really hard to get that confidence back because this course is just really always on you.
And that's a great putt there from Yuli, and that's a birdie for him. And usually when you do something wrong in this course, it's not just a micro mistake. It's a really grandiose-looking mistake. Disc rolling down a hill, skipping into the water. Doesn't feel good. Here's Alden from 15. And I will note, Noah has taken the shades off.
Ooh.
It's time for business.
Yep, a little bit of a style change up there.
There's a par from Gavin, and we move into hole number 14.
This is going to be a tricky par 4. Off the tee, most players are probably going to be playing fairway driver, something just that goes as straight as possible, trying to ideally get over this little ditch, and that's all casual relief area there because there is some tough footing. Then they're going to be playing a hyzer into this green, and the basket has been moved quite a bit back from years past, which makes this approach shot just so hard and so long.
This par 4 averaged a 4.66 out of 100, I would say almost 200 players we had here. It is not an easy birdie, and a 4 here feels actually pretty good. Noah, pretty masterful at these low straight shots, but that's going to sit down. Oh, no.
Wow. Pretty unfortunate there to go OB long left.
And I'm not sure if we had a bit of a tailwind that's lifting the disc here. I thought his was going to sit down.
I believe on this day we actually had a head right to left wind on this hole. So a lot of players were getting that late lift.
That is a huge drive from Yuli. I think that was a Proto Zeus he tried throwing. Super aggressive line.
And you hear Gavin with that little bit of anxiety just on the release point. This needs to get some turn.
Oh,
And
yeah.
That's a prime
There's
position
that
right
hyzer
there.
flip from Alden. Gavin's got a decision to make here. Is he going for the birdie, or is he just trying to play a hyzer in bounds? And he goes a bit aggressive.
Yeah, but still playing the overstable disc.
And he won't have an easy birdie look. He might have some sort of long run to the basket. As Alden goes giant hyzer.
Quite a bit of flip up. Oh, wow, that's a great shot.
Boom. That is huge.
Oh,
Way
and that got
over the
flipped
water.
up too. Wow.
And he's going to be just outside circle 1. He might have a look to save his par.
And Yuli, after the huge drive, goes for a little bit of a lower line, trying to penetrate a little bit more. Needs to get left.
And I think he's good.
Looks to be safe. And being below the basket, he won't have any sort of death putt.
Looks like he gets up there. Inside circle 1. Here's Noah for a bit of a tough par look. As you can see, the wind is blowing.
Man, he has been so close to hitting multiple of these circle 2 spin putts.
This is Alden for birdie. Right out of his hand, he knew it. Not fully committed. It looks like we did not get an OB marker for Uli. I think he's good. He just wants to decide what challenger he wants to use here. And this right here is a pro move. Any new or amateur players new to the tournament scene, where you're at putting from or throwing from, you might not get a good wind read from it. A lot of pro players like to check where the wind is blowing at the basket or at the mouth of a tunnel that you're throwing through. So definitely take note of that. That was a pro move from Uli. Not an easy putt.
Yep, tricky stance and probably had a pretty strong right to left wind. Good par there. This hole did average 4.83. So again, a really hard par 4.
And I believe it averaged a 4.83 potentially in round 4. I think round 3 was a 4.66, but regardless, taking that many strokes in the field with just a par is very nice to have, to say the least. Moving into 15, what do you think here?
This is one you definitely want to be getting any sort of left to right moving shot. A lot of players take mid-range turnover or slightly understable fairway driver on a turnover, with other players opting for a forehand.
Or if you're as techie as Uli, you'll take out a driver again.
Yep. Great commitment.
And that's a Mantis. That's a Big Z Mantis from Uli.
Sit down. Oh, no.
Oh, wow. Just didn't get it to bend out.
Mm-mm.
And it might be this sneaky wind that we have that we're not feeling.
Yeah, this hole did have quite a bit of tailwind. Along with the uphill of this hole, it is easy to be on that left side.
Gavin looks like he's throwing a mid-range here. Might be an MD. It's flying like one.
And that needs to stay straight. Sit down. Yep.
35 feet. With the elevated pin, though, it does make the green a bit smaller. So you do want to put it inside 25 feet if you want to have a comfortable birdie putt, especially with this wind. And it's interesting. We're seeing Alden opt for the backhand turnover, but is he going to release it with hyzer, or is he going to throw it with Annie right out of his hand?
Looked to be some Annie right out of his hand with a pretty understable disc. Somewhere near
kind of
that
a cool
little
shot.
shed. Yeah.
Still kept the nose up on it, but still was able to get the Annie on the disc. He should be up there for a putt.
Noah ripping a forehand. That's looking really good.
And that is about par.
Yep, picture perfect.
This is a big momentum boost right here for Uli. If he can sink this, this will set the tone for the rest of the holes.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Huge putt for par.
And that feels good going into the last 3 where anything can happen. Great putt, Uli.
Great putt from Gavin as well. That one for birdie.
And left side again for Alden. I do want to give a shout out, though, to Alden. Apparently, he was one of, I believe, 2 or 3 players to birdie hole 12 at Northwoods. So that is a lifetime achievement. I will definitely say. You may have missed this putt, but you did birdie hole 12 at Northwoods.
Moving on to hole number 16 is going to be the easiest par 4 that we play on this Eureka Lake course. A lot of players choose roller off the tee, trying to just bend it somewhere down through these trees and then finishing a little bit right, which leaves you with a pretty short approach into this green.
Yes, the name of the game off this hole is put it in play, give yourself something. There is OB left and right yet again. Players wanting to throw the roller want to be able to attack this green in a position where they can see the basket and attack it with a slower disc. So we will see some air shots and rollers.
And that looked to be the same mid-range from Gavin. Didn't
Just a
quite
bit
get
high.
the turn out of his hand.
Exactly.
This is, again, playing with that little bit of tailwind. Definitely harder to get that left to right movement that you want on all these shots.
Noah going with a really cool line, kind of a hard anhyzer out of the hand, and that's a good spot to be.
Great shot.
Uli opting for a forehand. Looks like a nuke. And he's juiced it. And I'm happy he didn't get a forward skip out of bounds.
Yep. Yeah, that's a really technical line. Definitely probably the hardest shot you could choose on this hole. And this is going to be an F7 from Alden playing the roller.
And that might have a little bit too much.
Just needs to sit down.
Not too bad. He'll be on the edge. Flex sidearm coming out from Gavin. That looks great.
Wow. Sit down. Wow, great shot. Just long. Right at circle's edge. Putting back up at the basket.
Okay. That's a great birdie look there from Uli. We see Noah going for slower disc sidearm. What is he throwing here, you think?
I am not sure,
It
actually.
looked like potentially a gator or a cayman.
Yeah, pretty straight, actually. And that's great speed control down that hill.
This is always a funny stance. Do you choose the super forced straddle sidearm against your body or the awkward patent pending, kind of a pick your poison stance?
And this feels like a very makeable putt down this hill.
Just off the top. Hoping he didn't go too deep.
Oh.
No. I love that he's taking his time on these comebackers. I think it's one of the biggest parts in disc golf that players lose strokes on. We just saw Ricky Wysocki just recently mess up a putt from that distance on a comebacker, and happens to everybody. Flick birdie from Uli. And on this course, it's nice to not even be able to have to putt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, drop-ins feel great out here.
And with 2 holes left, we move into hole number 17. I would say another one of the signature holes in the course. Your last hope at a 2 on this course. Super slim island green, OB all around. And we usually have some sort of interesting wind on this hole.
Yeah, on this day, we had kind of a left to right that would switch from a little bit tail to a little bit head.
So players are either opting to play with the wind and let it ride or fight the wind.
See it playing wide and then getting that push at the end.
It's a great shot.
Great shot from Noah. This is also a pretty cool hole because they do have these stands behind the green. So some spectators, which were allowed at this event, collect there.
They get to see some ace runs here. There's a Raptor from Uli. And this is a great hole for that slow, overstable driver type disc. Throw it high, let it run out of speed. I believe Gavin has thrown something similar. And that's part of what I like about this course also is the fact that they're beginning to figure out where they can put bleachers permanently to make it a lot more enjoyable for spectators. There are people in kayaks in the lake that are watching from there. That's a good line from Alden. That might go in. Oh,
absolutely parked.
Oh my
no.
gosh.
Everything but making it in the basket.
And just like Gavin said, he's been all over the basket and just missing in kind of bizarre ways. We're seeing some weird misses I have not seen on a Chain Star Pro before.
Yeah, a lot of chains being hit.
And here's Uli for another birdie. He's been managing these bad breaks really well. And that is how you stay successful on this course. Super confident stroke. It feels so nice to have the energy here. Even without, even with limited spectators, it always feels like a show here.
Yep. Yeah, the little bit of cheer that you get even from a little bit of a drop-in on this hole, it just feels so good at the end of this long, really mentally taxing round.
Yeah. And I love the placement of this hole, too, being hole 17. You get to, throw an ace run before you move into this one.
Yeah, hole 18, one of the harder par 4s at the end here. A common play is roller or just some sort of air shot to get anywhere near that concrete area. And then it leaves you a really tricky approach into this slanted green.
Yeah, there's a couple different parts in this hole that I say it quite a bit in commentary. There are red zones on this hole, and there are green zones right next to them, sometimes, even 10 feet by 10 feet in diameter. Landing your disc close to the edge of the fairway on the left, challenging the OB, allows you to throw over the water for the birdie. Or if you do what Noah did and push the backhand as far as you can right side, you'll have something. In between that is hairy.
And with this tailwind, a lot more players were opting for the air shot because you could get a little bit more push out of it.
Yes.
Where the roller would want to cut out more to the left side.
Looks like we were experiencing a bit of a headwind on this hole. Couple players turning their drives over a little early. And it looks like Gavin threw out of his shoes on that one.
Wow, and that went straight through the tree with steam.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's got to come back in.
Oh, it really tried to. That is in the parking lot.
Weird stretch
OB.
for Gavin.
Yeah.
That is a good shot. That's got to get a little flare forward.
Wow. Great
From
shot.
how far back he was, people do not get that close to the basket unless you throw a beautiful second shot. There's a decent kick for Uli. Gives him a circle's edge putt. Let's see if Gavin can capitalize here after a couple rough breaks.
He's got that low ceiling to deal with. Looks to have just thrown it into the ground a little bit. Oh, and Noah. The slip. Hope
Watching
he's all right.
from the ground.
Wow.
Oh, my
no.
gosh. And the slip gave him too much power. And he still has a putt to save the par. That's also a little bit unfortunate.
Great recovery shot there from Gavin.
And Uli just wants a nice, easy run at this basket. It is sloped towards the water on the left. Looks like he's going to put a little Annie on it. Little floater.
Oh.
I have
Wow.
not seen any of these types of misses on these baskets. This has been a bizarre round. I might attribute it to the wind playing a factor.
That is an incredible putt.
That's a great way to finish the round. What a battle for Noah Meintsma.
Holy cow.
Oh my gosh, she went from shades, cool guy, to no shades, great birdie guy, and now ends the round with a great par putt.
Yep.
Kudos to you, Noah.
And Alden with a huge second shot has a look at birdie now. Yes.
What a way to end it. Birdie, birdie.
Great 3 to finish the round.
And with how many good holes he had, he finished even. Just goes to show you that this is not your Tuesday night doubles league course. This is a course that challenges the absolute best players in the world. And with the sun setting in the background, Paul Ulibarri taps in a -2. What a round.
Yeah, a lot of red, a lot of green on a lot of these scorecards. Another battle at Eureka.
And thank you again for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media. Again, I'm Brian Earhart. Tristan.
See you guys next time.
Later.